What's going on, YouTube world? Hey, y'all seen the title of the video. I'm gonna get straight to it, man. This is what it's like being an introvert, you know, especially on days like today. Shout out to America, 250, baby, you know, 4th of July, 2026, man. It's a big one. 250 is a big one, man. So, shout out to y'all. Shout out to all my Americans. Shout out to all the fans around the world. Hopefully y'all can come to America one day and see what it's like, get a taste of the good life. I got a barbecue plate as long as you're a good person. You don't bring no drama, no bull. Hey man, I got a plate for you. You got some ribs, got some brats, got some hamburgers, chicken wings, whatever you want, man. That's all love in America, you know, as long as you want some. We match energy very well in America, just so y'all know. So y'all come on that bull, we come with that bull. Y'all come with some peace and respect. Peace and respect. You know what I mean? It's all love. But I'm gonna get straight to this video, man. This video was inspired to me by somebody that left a video or a comment on my last video, basically, you know, giving me props for even being able to talk in front of these cameras, because in my last video I explained how difficult it is for me to make videos, because I am an introvert. I'm a very secluded person. I'm a private person. I don't really do social media. But I know with the new generations coming up and the way AI technology is going and all these different things, you know, I got to get with the program. I can't just live in a shell my whole life. But it's very easy for someone like me to do, because in my eyes, the more I am then off the radar and under the cover, basically, or, you know, just out the way, it leads me to have a very peaceful life, because there's not a lot of noise. I'm not getting a lot of outside influences trying to change my mind or trying to manipulate me or persuade me or peer pressure me into doing things. I'm my own man. I make my own decisions. And anybody watching this, woman, man, child, whatever, you know, think for yourself, make your own decisions. Don't be a herd, you know, part of the herd. You want to know what the herd's doing from a distance. But if everybody's jumping off a bridge, you don't just go jump off no bridge until you think about it, analyze it, figure out why they're doing it, who's telling them to do it. You know, think for yourself. That's a video for another day. But now drop a comment down below already, man. Just let me know if y'all are introverted or y'all are extroverted. For anybody who doesn't know what an introvert or an extrovert is, don't feel any type of way, because I had no idea for a long time. I lived with it for 10, 15 years. Probably, matter of fact, my whole life I've had it. But I hadn't even realized it until, like, I never sat down and was like, oh, that's why I'm like this. And so, until recently, you know, until you start just, you know, taking time for yourself and reflecting and looking at your life and looking in the mirror and figuring out what it is that's, you know, who you are as a person. And you start to reflect on things. You start to look and pinpoint certain things in your life that you didn't notice before when you start getting older. Because when I was in my, you know, from 18 to 30, basically, it was all gas, no brakes, you know. I'm just trying to find a woman in my life, trying to find my career. I grew up in a rough area, so I'm trying to, you know, get myself out of that. I didn't have no help, you know. Single mom, father left me, all these things. So, you know, I had to get it out the mud, as they say, from zero, from nothing, all on my own. So, no family, no friends help, no nothing. And so, you know, after all these years and now finally getting settled down and getting a chance to breathe for once in your life, you start to realize these things. So for all of you that don't know what an introvert is or an extrovert, I'll briefly explain it real quick. So in my opinion, in my eyes, an extrovert is a person that is extra. I'm just going to keep it real with y'all, man. I'm from the hood, so I use hood slang sometimes. Hey, if you don't like it, this ain't for you. But if you do, hey, I'm just being real and authentic. I don't edit videos. I don't do none of that. So I just want to give y'all the real, raw, who I am, and maybe some people can relate to that. Some people can't. I don't know. But basically, it's people that are extra. Man, by being extra, in my eyes, is like people that always want to go out and be around large groups that have no problem. And there's nothing wrong with extroverts, don't get me wrong. I actually like having friends that are extroverts because then they get me out of my shell every once in a while. But every time I do, I end up regretting it. So that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, there's no hate on anybody who's an extrovert. I mean, everybody's their own person. So, but in my eyes, an extrovert is a person that's just always needing validation from people. They're always posting everything their entire lives online for the world to comment on. They're always trying to impress somebody. They're always trying to, you know, get large groups of people and they're always out and about. They're always, getting in the mix. They're getting in the drama. They want to know what's that person talking about. They're always talking about somebody, or always wanting to be in somebody's business, or always wanting to know what's going on. If there's noise going on down the street, they want to, oh, what happened down there? And they're all the nosy people. They come out of their house, walk down the street and see what's going on. Now, on the flip side of that, obviously, is an introvert. An introvert, you see something going on down the road, you say, well, as long as they stay down there, don't come down here, I don't want to be bothered, you don't want to be out and about. When you go to Walmart, it gives you anxiety. See, I just realized what anxiety was for real. I lived with it my whole life and had no idea. I still deal with it. I don't take medicine for it. I just believe it's something that I've developed over the years of, possibly it might have been my traumatizing childhood. It could be in the environment I grew up in. And it could just be, genetics. Who knows? I really didn't do too much research into it. I just know I have it because I could take you guys back. When I first realized that I kind of had it was when I was in middle school, high school. You start going. When you're a kid, you don't really realize these things. Nobody ever tells you. You just probably just live with it. But as you get older, you start to kind of realize things. But I still didn't even know. Nobody ever was like, bro, I think you got anxiety, bro, or I think you're an introvert, bro, because I'd be at school and let's just say a bully's picking on me. Well, I was never scared per se of a bully. I was never like timid or frightened to go to school, nothing like that. But if I was having a confrontation with somebody was picking on me, or somebody was starting stuff with me, I would start kind of like getting the jitters real bad. And then, people would be like, oh, look, he's shaking, he's scared. And come to find out, like I always be like, I'm not scared. And it would make me even more mad. And I had to explain to, like, when I'm looking back on it now as an adult, I was like, oh, that was just my anxiety kicking in. It still happens to this day. If I get into a confrontation, which I very rarely do, because I'm, like I said, introvert, I'm out the way. I don't be in the clubs. I don't be out on the streets. I don't have no reason to have confrontation with anybody. But every once in a while, I'll have an incident like the other day where I'm driving. Well, my wife was driving. My kid's in the back seat. We're coming back from T-ball practice, and we're coming up this hill, and the speed limit's like 30. Now, mind you, the cops where I live always trying to give people tickets. So we're going the speed limit. Well, this car comes flying up on us. Basically almost hits the back of the car. He's like steadily trying to ram the back of the car. And I'm like, what the fuck? My wife was like, what's this guy's problem? I look in the rear view. I see it. Then he flies around us. He flies around us and slams on his brakes when he gets in front of us. And then next thing you know, he's like sticking his finger out the window, flipping us off. Now, the type of person I am, I really wanted to handle that. All of y'all that know, What that means, that means me put my foot in his ass. I train every day for this type of situation. Now, I don't want to go out looking for it. Like I said, I'm introvert. I stay out the way. I try to be respectful to everybody. But when I get disrespected, especially my family, you can disrespect me all day. But when you start doing crazy stuff with my kids in the car or my wife, well, we got a bigger problem now. So, but in that moment, the dude was flipping me off. And so I told my wife, I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't know what this dude was gonna do. I didn't know if he was gonna like park his car and get out. I didn't know if he was gonna try to follow. I ain't know nothing. But I could feel my body start like doing like this because I was getting so mad. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm about to like lose it on this guy because luckily, for me, I have practiced for a while now on emotional intelligence. So I didn't react like I normally would have. Typically I would have, followed this person or did something to this person. But, I wanted to show my children, I got young boys, so I wanted to show them, how to react in these type of situations. So I kept my composure, but deep down I was like this. Because my anxiety was getting so bad. From being, like I said, not knowing. And so I feel like anxiety and being an introvert go hand in hand because when you are around a lot of people or in these type of situations, like I said, back in school, a bully would mess with me. I started shaking stuff. It's like, I just realized that I found more comfort being alone. When I'm around people, you just, especially extroverts, they can't stop talking. They just are always in your ad, like always asking questions, always in your face, always being loud, always doing this, can't be quiet for 2 seconds. And as an introvert, from my perspective, I really enjoy my peace and quiet because, like I said, the way I was raised or the environment I was raised in, it was just constant. Just people are outside all day, every day. People are coming over. People are over here. People are over there. There's just constant chaos. Everybody's trying to get a buck. Everybody's trying to party. Everybody's trying to, dull the pain of where they're at. It's just so much going on all the time. And so now, as a grown adult, even just going outside sometimes just gives me crazy anxiety. Like if I go to, let's just say Walmart, for instance, to go grocery shopping, like I try to go and I try to stock up. Like I buy like a month's worth of groceries because just even that one time of going, I just get I get stressed. It gives me like almost like literally an anxiety attack because I'll start getting hot. I'll start sweating. My heart will start beating fast. I'm looking around because there's just so much going on. You got just people in the aisles. People are rude. People, the workers don't want to help. When you ask them something, they're rude. There's one cashier with 1,000 people. Everybody else is. And you just never know. There's just being in a public environment like that with so many different people, with so many different walks of life, so many different views on life. You don't know if somebody's having a bad day. You don't know if somebody's going to come in there and do something. I hear something on the news all the time of, an employee stabs another employee or crazy person got, like literally this guy just got shot in the parking lot at Walmart. I believe it was in Texas. But they were arguing over a parking spot, and the person shot the dude in the stomach. He was an army vet, or he was some kind of military veteran. So rest in peace to that man getting shot like a few days before the 4th of July over a parking spot. That's how quick it could happen. And those things go through my mind when I see this stuff happening in the real world all the time. It just... in my eyes, I'm like, you never know when it's going to be the time where something's going to happen where you got to, defend yourself. Somebody does something and you defend yourself, but then they play victim. And then next thing you know, you're in trouble. And I don't like being in those type of situations. I don't even like being put. And I understand some people, tell me, you can't live your life in fear. And it's not a fear thing. That's why I try to explain to people, like, it's not that I'm fear that somebody's going to come after me or somebody's going to do something to me or do something this. It's just, I don't like being in uncomfortable situations like that. The less people I'm around, in my eyes, the less people I'm around, the less chances are. Something could still happen. I had some crazy guy tried to break in my neighbor's house about 2 years ago, and he was walking down the street, crazy guy. Didn't know the people, just walked in their house and started acting crazy. And the dude told him to get out, and the guy, he did better than I did. He would have, because he would have came in here, I wouldn't even talk to him. He would have instantly got shot and killed. But the guy came in there, he was like, get out, and the dude was like, oh, I'm not gonna leave, I'm gonna kill you. And then the guy shot him and killed him. That was literally 2 hours. So anything can happen to anybody, even if you're at home or you're just out the way. Things happen, but I feel like it very much so it'll lower your chances by staying out the way and just not being involved in all the bullshit. I see people getting shot randomly all the time for no reason. Mistaken identity. I live in a very dangerous area. Not so much where I'm at now, but 5 minutes from me is shootings every day, all day, every day. I just got gas the other day in St. Louis, and the exact same gas station at the exact same pump, a guy got shot and killed. Like, that quick. On the same day. I got receipts, I got everything to prove it. So, it's just, it could have been me. It could have been that quick, and you just that type of stuff, man. Being in the city, I went over there to go look at a car. It ended up being a scam. I was like, well, I'm over here, I might as well get gas because it's like $2 cheaper over there. And so, it's a whole thing. So that just goes to show you, like, that type of stuff, when these things happen, it gives me even more reason to be introverted, because it's like, I just see people, getting in fights and getting in shootouts and getting in this and getting in that, or extroverts, they love that kind of stuff. They love the drama. They like being in the mix. They like hooting and hollering and all the bull stuff. And I can't be around that, And so I say that to say, dealing with being an introvert has its pros and its cons. So, a pro, like I said, less drama. I have a very peaceful life. I don't have to deal with everybody's shenanigans. I don't have to deal with getting shot at. I don't have to deal with this and this and that. Now, on the flip side, I probably do miss out on some cool experiences. Like traveling, for instance. Like, I have no interest on ever traveling around the world and seeing things. Like, I could see it on TV. I'm totally fine with that. Like, I don't like to travel. I don't like being on a plane. I'm too introverted to even be on a plane. I'm too introverted to go to parties. I'm sure I miss out on a bunch of cool parties. For all of y'all that don't know, I've been sober 2 years, so it's not really my interest to go to parties anyways. Everybody's usually drinking and acting stupid. And see, I have a very low tolerance for bull crap. You know what I'm saying? Bullshit. I don't know if I can cuss on YouTube. I'm sure I can. I don't know, but whatever. Bullshit. I don't tolerate it. I don't tolerate disrespect. And when you're out and around all these different spirits and different people, and they're drinking, most likely somebody's going to disrespect you in some type of way, whether it's purposefully or accidentally. You know, I could tell you a time where I went out not that long ago, and I had people convince me, like, come on, bro, come on, you haven't been out forever. You haven't been out forever. I'm like, all right, come on, man, I'll go out. It's my friend's birthday or whatever. We're out, we're hanging out. I'm minding my own business, not doing, just hanging out. And next thing you know, some drunk guy comes and bumps into me, spills his drink on me because he's arguing with somebody else. Him and another guy were arguing, and they were like pushing each other back and forth. Well, when the other guy pushed him, he went back and he spilled his drink on me on my brand new shirt. Accidents happen, I get it. You didn't mean to do it. It's not like he came and threw his drink in my face. But the simple fact, you still spilled your drink on me. And so I waited there. They stopped fighting or whatever. They went back to hanging out with their girls and stuff. I walked up to him. I was like, hey, man, what's up? He's like, what? What do you want? I'm like, hey, bro, when you and the other dude was just tussling, you spilled your drink all over me. In my brand new shirt, bro. Like, you're going to have to pay for this shirt. And he was like, oh, man, fuck your shirt. I'm going to ask you again, bro. Bro, you better cash at me some money for this shirt, or we're going to have a problem. And this dude was a little weenie dude, too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you looking at me like, do I look like somebody that's going to play with you right now, bro? Like, I know you drunk. You got some liquid courage, but I'm not somebody you want to play with. What's he do? Oh, man, anybody blah, 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 blah. All right. There's only one way out of this bar. Or restaurant, or whatever it was, a bar restaurant. I'm like, there's only one way out of here, bro. And you ain't making it to your car. So, that's another side. I can't really say too much after that, but just know I got my money's back. And then some. For my shirt. But that's just what I'm saying. Like, had I just been sitting at, doing my own thing, staying out the way, that would have never happened. Now, there's been other times where I've went out and got food and had a great time. Nothing ever happened. But it's just so I get my extrovert friends that don't understand. I really made this video for people like them because I've had to explain to one of my even best friends, like, because he's always inviting me places like, come on, bro, I'll pay for your ticket to go to the basketball game. Come on, bro, I'll pay for you. I got a friend that's always want me to do stuff, go on a cruise, go on here, go there. And I gotta, always gotta tell him, like, I don't know, man, I'll think about it. But really deep down, like, I want to just tell him, like, eventually I did end up having to just tell him, like, bro, like, I'm introverted, bro. I don't like doing all the things that you like doing. Like, I don't like going out every single weekend and blowing a bunch of money and being around a bunch of fake people. Honestly, when we break it down to the real shit, most people are fake. Most people are only care about their best interest. They'll use you and abuse you until they can't anymore, and then they're on to the next person. So they're like leeches, or vampires, like energy vampires. And I prefer to not be around people like that, A lot of people are snakes. I've dealt, like I said, I grew up in the hood. I grew up in rough areas, and it showed me a lot. God blessed me with having a great sense of discernment, and it helps me a lot when I see things. I can see through people. I can see people's like, hold on, you're not really my friend. You just want to do this. You just want to do that. You just want something from me. You want, and once I started weeding people out, once I quit drinking, I lost a bunch of those friends. Like, damn, I thought y'all were my friends. Nope, you don't drink no more, bro. We can't be friends. Oh, really? Okay, after 10, 15 years. Okay, cool. That's cool. Hey, same thing with smoker friends. Quit smoking. What happened? Smokers don't like being around people who don't smoke because they want to sit there like a zombie. And if you're not, see me, I can still hang around people that drink. It don't bother me as long as they're respectful. I can hang around people who smoke. It don't bother me as long as they're respectful. But for some reason, it's like it puts a mirror on them, and it makes them feel very uncomfortable inside when somebody else isn't getting, totally fucked up and wasted. So, again, introvert, say to myself. So, It sucks because, you know, especially when you're young, like me, when I was first going through the puberty stage and starting to get girlfriends and stuff like that, it used to be tough, man, because I would like, go up to a girl to finally get the courage enough to like my older friends would be like, bro, you gotta stop being soft and go up and say something to her, and then I go out of my way to say something to her, and we would start flirting, and she would flirt with me, and my face would get so red, it would just turn into like it would just be so red, and and everybody would make fun, like, look at him, because that's where I grew up. Everybody made fun of everybody for everything, so I got very thick skin, and but back then I really didn't have thick skin. It took a while to develop that because I used to actually take it to heart when people would say certain things, and then and that even fueled it even more. So everybody would be like, look at him, he's getting so look at him, he's so nervous, look at him, he's turning red, he look like a tomato, tomato face ass boy, and so it was a whole thing, and so then next thing you know, the girl that was flirting with me, now she's like getting embarrassed herself because everybody's making fun of me for even like talking to her, and next thing you know, it don't work out. So it's like damn. And then you got to try it again, and same thing, like I said, whenever, you get into conflict situations, like, oh, look at him, he looks scared, look at him, he's scared. Whole time, I ain't scared at all, but, and a lot of people had to learn the hard way, because they thought I was scared and tried me and got their ass beat, honestly. And then after a few people get their ass beat, then next thing you know, everybody's cool with you. It's like one of those stereotypical things. You beat up a couple people, a lot of people want to be your friend all of a sudden. And so, again, I'm all about peace, no violence, but back in the day, that's just what it was. That's just how I grew up. Everybody fought, we'd be hanging out the next minute. Nowadays, you can't do that. Back in my day, you'll fight, go play basketball, be on the same team, fight again, go get ice cream, fight again. You'd be on the same team with that person fighting somebody else. Go ride bikes down to another neighborhood, you're fighting them, and it's just all day, every day. But we all got along after. We always, made amends. We'd see each other at school. What's up, bro? What's up? None. We didn't even talk about it. It wasn't even like it happened, And nowadays, I feel like this new generation, and I feel like it's by design, man. I feel like it's by design. We can put our tinfoil hats on, but I just feel like every time they try to suppress something, it just makes it worse. So, for instance, the laws in America for fighting, both if you get into a fight with somebody, you'll get arrested, right? And you'll have to go to court, you have to pay a fine, you have to do this, you get labeled as a violent person. It's just the whole thing. And that person can sue you now. Everybody's sue happy. Depending on who got the better of who. Yeah, it's just it used to not be like that. You used to be able to get in fights all the time, and nobody called the police. If the police came, they'd be like, "Are y'all good? Okay, bye." They didn't care as long as there wasn't no craziness going on. Nowadays, you can't fight without getting arrested or getting sued. So what does people do? Now they don't fight. Now they just want to shoot. Now people just figured out, well, what's the point of even fighting anymore? Because it used to be it didn't matter if you won or lost. Nobody cared as long as you had heart. It was like a test of heart, what we called it. Don't matter if you got your ass whooped, if you got jumped by 5 people, you let people know, man, I ain't scared of none of y'all. I'll fight all 5 of you at the same time. And, you would fight them, boom, 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 they beat your ass. But they never just stomped you out or knocked your teeth down your throat or nothing like crazy like that. We would just fight. Boom, 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 boom. Just hitting. And, afterwards, it'd be like, they'd all be your best friend. They'd be ready to fight somebody for you at that point. Because it'd be like, bro, you actually got out there with us. You wasn't scared of that, bro. You my guy. Next thing you know, you cool with everybody. And that's how it went. But the ones who were scared and didn't, oh, no, please don't jump me. And they took off running and cried and went and called the police or whatever. They just got even more picked on. They got picked on even more, and they got even bullied even harder. So, but now it's just like you can't even fight without somebody trying to pull a gun on you because don't nobody want to fight no more. So I mean, it's a different age. I get it, but I just feel like it's set up like that. You can't. You got too many people that got too much animosity in on their chest. If they could just, you know, not that I'm saying it's cool to fight. You should obviously use your brain before you do anything. But people will be people. Men will be men. Boys will be boys. You gotta let these young men hit, especially the teenagers. You gotta let them hit. Like win, lose, or draw, it don't matter. We gotta bring that back to where it's like, even if you lose, hey, you still get love because everybody's hugging you. Everybody's making sure you're good. Come here, bro. Let me get that blood off you. Like, you good, bro. You good. Shake that shit off. And that's how you learn. That's how you get better. And, and it probably will keep that person from running their mouth next time, honestly, because nowadays, you can't, like I said, the fighting is so frowned upon that these people that are weak as hell got this now. Yeah. Because they know. It just happened the other day. Somebody was running their mouth. Not to me, but I seen it happen. And running their mouth. And the person beat their ass. And what happened? That person played victim once the cops came. And the person that was running their mouth the whole time played victim. And then the other person got in trouble. So that's just what I'm saying is it's giving the people so many people a pass to be disrespectful, a pass to be, until they come across the wrong person who ain't playing it. So, and that's where you see these videos online all the time of people that think they can just do this, blah 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 blah, and fuck you, blah blah blah, fuck your kids, fuck your wife, fuck this, fuck that, and then they get their ass beat. So. That's on them. But back to the subject, I can, like I said, just being introverted is hard for me to even talk on camera. And, I get sidetracked because I'm just trying to keep the conversation flowing. But I like engaging with people. And so, it's easier for me to actually talk to somebody in person. But unfortunately, where I'm at, nobody has any drive or motivation to do anything. So trying to get people to even make YouTube videos like pulling teeth, and at this point I don't even want nobody to help. I just make my own videos. If they take off, they take off. If they don't, they don't. But hopefully maybe one person, and it has been some of the videos I've made in the past, I've gotten feedback from, and I've been hundreds or thousands of Mr. Beast type views, but a couple of people have reached out to me, man, and said my videos helped them. So, and like I said again, this video is trying to explain to extroverts what it's like for an introvert. When we go out in public, it makes us literally have like heart palpitations. It makes us start sweating, or you start getting just real jittery, and it's just like it's an anxiety attack, honestly. And trying to hold like conversations with people about this is another thing. A lot of people talk about so much garbage that it's very hard for an introvert to be in group settings where everybody's just talking about things that don't matter. They're so worried about this person or that person or this or that, and but aren't even looking in the mirror to look at themselves. A lot of these people that always got an opinion on someone else usually are poor. They're usually fat and out of shape, unfortunately, and they're just basically, don't have anything going for themselves but want to talk about other people all the time. And that kind of stuff cringes me. You should be focusing on yourself. You should be focusing on your nucleus family. All that other stuff is just noise. It's distractions. Like, again, it's by design. Put our tinfoil hats on. It's by design. They want you to be distracted. They want you to be at odds with your neighbor. They want you to be at odds with the other race. They want you to be at odds with the other gender. They want you to be at odds with anybody for anything, honestly. Like, and people fall victim to it, man. People fall victim. It's the Matrix for a reason. They got people trapped, and you know, and people are crashing out here left and right. And I feel bad for people, man. I try to get people to stop, take a minute, take a deep breath. Don't just act on impulse. Like you these like, and especially in like the urban communities where I'm from, I just see it all the time, and I feel so bad for these young people that get influenced by the media, by music, by their favorite person, all these people that are fake on the internet pretending to be these type of people, and then these people go and idolize it. I did it myself when I was coming up. Lil Wayne, Gucci Mane, all these different rappers and stuff that I looked up to, and all they sing about was shooting or doing this or doing that or gangster rap, and then as a kid, you obviously like, man, I got to get me a gun. I want to be a gangster. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then, and a lot of people fall for the trap, and they lose their life. They get killed. I see it all the time. They get sent to jail. Back-to-back gun charges, back-to-back, just because they got a gun when they don't have their license for it. Simple, stupid stuff. And it's like, but nobody ever told them, go get your license for your gun. Here's what you need to do. They just think, oh, I got to get a gun because Lil Wayne said I need a gun. Or Gucci Mane says I need a gun. Now, and look at all these rappers that were gangsters. If you look at them now as they're older men, they're all changing their ways. They all want to be CEOs now. They ain't gangsters no more. They don't live by the street codes no more. As you can see, Gucci Mane sitting there snitching. Like, and he was the one that said he would die before he ever would snitch. So, I mean, it just shows you people change, people grow, people evolve. But the ones who were sitting there listening to Gucci Mane are all these different rappers, and they're all sitting in prison still, thinking like, damn, I idolized this dude, and it was a fraud. It was fake, So, I say that to say this, man. If you're an introvert, it's okay to be who you are. Be honest. Tell your family. Like my family doesn't like that I'm introverted. They get upset every time they want me to go do things. And I tell them I'm not going. I could care less. I've already been there. I've seen it all. I haven't seen it all, but I know enough. If that makes sense. There's nothing that brings me more joy than the peace and quiet and the comfort of my own home with my family. Now, don't get me wrong, I still take my kids to do stuff, and I suck it up for them. Sometimes you just got to go to Walmart, get groceries. Got to take the kids out to the movies every once in a while, or to, a fun arcade or, water park or whatever. But, but for the most part, man, I like being to myself because I know I'm a solid person. I know I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize what I got going on. I don't have to worry about other people's drama or, people asking me for things or wanting things from me because I'm totally gone. I'm out the way. So, comment down below if you're an introvert. What effects does it have on you? Is it a positive thing in your life? Does it help you stay out of trouble? Or is it a negative thing to where you feel lost, you feel lonely? Because that's what, again, being an introvert, it can get lonely sometimes if you don't have enough, self-worth or just hobbies and things going on. Like some people just don't have a lot of hobbies or things to do. I suggest you, work out. You can go for bike rides. You can go for, any type of exercise is going to help that. It's going to relieve some of that anxiety and stress. So I know a lot of introverts, they're video gamers. I game a little bit as well. It's not something you should do all the time, all day, every day. Go get a good exercise in, get up off the couch, go do something, move your body. I don't care if you just go out in the backyard and walk up and down out in a circle in your backyard. Just get out, get some sunlight, do something. Video games are cool, but at the same time, like I said, don't do anything don't abuse anything, if that makes sense. You know, use it for a fun pastime, but find you a hobby, work on your house, work on your car, like educate yourself, study, you know, read a book, you know, a lot of things. There's a lot of things introverts can do to pass time. And for me, it never gets old because there's always something for me to do. I got animals that I tend to, I got fish, I got cat, I got 2 dogs, you know, there's always something going on with my children. There's always something going on with the wife. There's always something going on with the house. There's always something going on somewhere. So, I mean, keep yourself busy. But like I said, you know, don't be ashamed for being who you are. Because people will try to peer pressure you into doing things you don't want to do. And there's no point. You got one life to live. Live it how you want to live it. As long as you're not hurting nobody. I don't care, you know, what people do in their home lives or their, you know, if it, as long as, like I said, they're not hurting themselves or anybody else, especially, you know, then hey, so be it, you know. But comment down below if you guys have any friends that are introverts. If you're an introvert, you know somebody's an introvert. If this can maybe help understand why that person is, and or, you know, just comment down below, say anything. Say what's up. Give me another topic to talk about. Like I said, I'd rather wish I could just bring, you know, my fans, or not fans, but my followers, my subscribers, and do a split screen with them and do like a Q&A with people. I'd much rather do that. But y'all let me know down below. Like I said, 4th of July. It's early. Just figured I'd get up, make a little quick video for y'all. Maybe this will help somebody somewhere. And shout out to anybody who subscribes, likes, or comments, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Like I said, you know, these videos are hard for me to do, but I'm doing them. So that just hopefully gives you a little inspiration to get out of your shell a little bit and do the same. So happy 4th of July, y'all. Y'all have a good one.